Greetings there, my fellow dukes and duchesses. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to a brand new series of Crusader Kings III, Rise of the Die. If you would like more information about this series, it can be found in the description of the video. And if you would like to skip the overview, please use YouTube chapters. Episode 1, The Duke of Zadoi. So before I start, let me tell you a little bit about this series specifically. Of course, Crusader Kings III is a game where you lead a noble house to greatness in a Middle Ages epic that spans generations. I'm a relatively new player to CK3. I didn't really even have a lot of time logged in CK2, so I'm a bit of a beginner. I know enough to get by, I think. But with that said, this is a no backseating stream. If I need help, I'll ask for it. I'll be playing pretty slow and polling you all about important decisions. And then, of course, raffling off family members to all of you. Role-playing is encouraged when voting for options and perhaps for names, but of course you can pick whatever name you want, provided it is family-friendly. We are going to be playing as the Dai people. They are sort of an ethnic group of southwestern China, Tibet, Laos, Cambodia, that kind of area. And we will be trying to unite Tibet. So let's get going. I'm going to start a new game and play as any ruler in 867. So here is the giant map of the world where you can just pick any petty kingdom or empire or whatever. This is what it looks like. Pretty huge. Obviously the New World isn't in here, but... And here is identifiable India, as you can see. And then we have, sort of the Mongols. And this here would be the Himalayas in this area. And I'm going to play as Zadoi, which is... sort of a unreformed Tibetan faith kingdom. Now, playing at this era, there are some feudal civs to be able to play, and I'm going to be playing as a tribal civ. It's maybe a little bit harder, but allows you to expand a little bit better. So that's what I will be doing. As far as game rules go, it's going to be Ironman normal difficulty. So, as you can see, totally default across the board here. And apply. And I do want to create my own ruler. So I am, only because it's a little bit easier and I'm a newer player, I'm going to be a heterosexual male. There's obviously different sexual orientations, but it's easier to play as a male because females have penalties when they're pregnant to prowess in combat, because you're pregnant. And then heterosexual is a lot easier because you have children and you can pass your titles down to your children. So just so that it's easier for me. I'm going to take a random name. So Takni, I guess is my name. That's a heck of a name. Another thing that I wanted to mention, because I know you all will probably be scratching your heads. There's going to be a lot of Tibetan swastikas. They're not, obviously this predates Hitler by considerable years. It's also a Tibetan symbol as well. I'm not going to have one as my own flag or realm. I'm just letting you know that there's going to be a whole lot of them, and it has nothing to do with Nazis. All right. I would like to expand militaristically, so I'm going to take Brilliant Strategist. What this is going to allow me to do is to conquer a little bit more easily, and also level up my ability to do that conquering relatively quickly. There are different skills here. This, of course, is not a tutorial, but there's different skills here. Diplomacy, martial, which is combat, stewardship, which is managing taxes in your own land, intrigue, which is spying and counter-spying, learning, which is the development or religion of your society, prowess, which is combat, dueling, etc. And, of course, diplomacy, which is keeping your vassals happy, keeping your neighbors happy. As far as personality, I am just going to go with temperate. Nice, even-keeled, little bit of stewardship boost. That is it. For other traits, I would like to take something inheritable. The way I like to play is I like to play initially with my first generation as a way to try to set up the second generation as being very successful. So you could drop a whole lot of traits that only really benefit your leader when you're creating your first person. This is the only person you're able to create from scratch. Let me hide myself so that you can actually see the designer a little bit more easily. But what I like to do is I like to design a character that passes down inheritable traits, congenital traits, so that my children could be perhaps stronger. It's not guaranteed, but it helps. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick intelligent. So intelligent gives me a pretty moderate boost to everything. Diplomacy, martial, stewardship, intrigue, learning, and also allows me to level up my lifestyle. And it can be inherited from my children. So now for custom points, I am almost maxed at 394. So I'm going to put a few more points into prowess and call that done. As far as appearance goes, I'm not going to do a whole lot of randoming, but I'd like someone larger because I'm supposed to be a martial expert. He looks big. That works for me. All right. Hello again. All right, there we are. So we have Takni of Zadoi, an 18-year-old leader who is Sampa Tibetan. He is of House Suvarna Gotra, nobility without wrath. I'd like that. I like that. That works for me. And then I don't have a player heir, and we are going to start. Works for me. All right, so at the very beginning, there's some really important choices to be made. Let me just make sure that the game is not a little bit too loud. Let's go with 30%. So some of the really important choices is we need an heir to be able to pass down our titles. If we don't have an heir, we lose. So if I was to be killed today with no heir, I could continue playing, but only as a different leader. So I would be sort of required to pick a new leader and start anew. We also want to choose a lifestyle choice. That's really easy to do. A lifestyle choice is going to be martial. And the way these work is as you level up your lifestyle experience, you gain the ability to take on additional skills. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to be authority focus. Authority focus allows you to control your territory a little bit more capably, so that you can grow larger levies for combat and also tax the land better. So authority focus and serve the crown. So serve the crown will help control growth go up. Control is the ability to govern a territory, and also natural dread, which is sort of like the opposite of respect. Either people can like you or they can dread you. Both work. I am not planning on making a dreadful character, however. All right. The other really important decisions up here is I am not currently married. So there's different things to look for when you're getting married. There is alliance power. So alliance power would be marrying someone who is in a very powerful house. So for instance, where is this house? This is someone who belongs to what the game is saying is a powerful house somewhere. I don't know where it is. Where are you, guy? Oh, he's up here. Ovorkna Angai or something like that. Then there is also other choices like prestige gain, marrying to someone who brings you a lot of prestige, which allows you to enact special decisions, and when you unlock it, if you become illustrious, it allows you to wage better wars. This would be a bad choice, this specific person, only because she's 40, she's not going to have children, not likely. Then there is rank, like how powerful they are in their own family. There is a bit of a penalty to rank. If I picked, for instance, a mayor, they would not be helping me reign my own empire. They would be running their own city, town, etc., etc. Age, you know, if I want to marry a 0-year-old, you don't actually marry them, you're just betrothed, and you get married later on. Opinion of me. So opinion of me is pretty useful. If your wife or significant other hates you, that's going to be problematic. But of course, you can always sway them thereafter. Diplomacy, stewardship, so on and so forth. Sum of all skills. So one of the things I like to try to pass down is inheritable skills. So trying to find someone who is ideally of our own ideology. So if I search for like opinion of me, there is not a whole lot. Yeah, here we go. Here are some people of my own faith. Now we can always ask our significant others to convert. And then another thing to look at is what culture they belong to. So, you know, trying to find someone of our own culture can be pretty difficult as well. At least someone who is a good match. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some of all skills. I'd like someone capable and with traits that I like. Like maybe this person, 21-year-old, they're a Hindu, but they could always convert. Ambitious, temperate, and gregarious, who is also intelligent. They have particularly high diplomacy skills, but they're also pretty capable at a lot of other things. I think this might be a good choice, so I'm going to write down a few choices here. Who should we pick? There is Lakshman, so intelligent with good traits. So this sort of intelligence is inheritable, meaning that I have it as a trait, she has it as a trait, so the chance of our children getting it is all the more higher. Now, if I do search by... So this person here is generous, just, and gregarious. She's also a pretty good pick because she's really capable at martial. She's a little older, though. So maybe I'll write down the one underneath her, Xiao. So Xiao here is high martial skills and good traits. And then last but not least, I will pick someone who has some alliance power. So where is this duchy? Okay, this duchy is nowhere near my territory, but they could make a good ally because they are potentially powerful. So, was it the heir that is unwed? Here, let me go back to alliance power. No, this is not the heir. This is the sister of the heir. Or granddaughter. Oh, she's young. Never mind. I'm not going to pick her. Too young to bear children. Man, there's not a lot of good alliance power choices here. What about this one? Where is... This is... Yes, this is the... like, Mongol up north. They're probably not going to be able to arrive at my aid in a reasonable amount of time because they're so far north. So I'm going to try one more choice here. I'm just looking at the ages. What about you? Where are you? Down in India? That's not going to be helpful. That's a little closer. This is pretty close. So she's greedy, deceitful. Okay, I'm already not enjoying that. That's kind of far south. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find someone that like lives somewhat close so that if I do get attacked, they can arrive to aid me within a reasonable amount of time, but not somewhere so close that I would have to fight them to expand, because I don't want them to exist within my own territory boundary. So let's not go with alliance power. Let's go with prestige gain then, because alliance power seems to be a false starter. Although there's a lot of prestige gain for these two, but they have horrible, horrible traits. And you're just straight ugly. Oh, God. You're 12? Hold on. That's a 12-year-old? Yep. Oh, ouch. Arrogant, lazy, craven. Man, these are terrible, terrible choices. Okay, fine. Let's just go with some of all skills and I'll find someone else. Here is Seba, compassionate, content, greedy, and she's also intelligent. With good traits. So Seba is also of our faith, which is a little bit of a boon, and she has really high stewardship, so she'd be good at governing territories. So there's Seba, who's 24, a rapacious empath. There was Lakshman, who is a bold planner. And then Xiao. Where was Xiao? Who is a rational lackey. Humble, patient, temperate. and gregarious, ambitious, temperate. And then the Seba is greedy, content, and compassionate. Well, there you go. I'm going to give you one more minute to vote. The reason I'm taking so long to make these decisions is this significantly dictates how the next 20 to 40 years in game will go. Your wife is, or your spouse or whatever, is an incredibly important decision. Another thing that I'm going to do just for roleplay is I'm planning on not taking any concubines. So I will not have any bastard children. All children will belong to my family tree. So far Lakshman is leading. So here she is. She's an adequate bargainer, so she levels up with her diplomacy adequately. Gregarious gives her extra diplomacy skills, and she helps to scheme a little bit better. Other gregarious people like her. She's ambitious, which is +1 to everything, but she does get stressed out a little bit more easily. And interestingly enough, it is against her religion to be ambitious. And then temperate, just like me, which is virtuous, I think, in our own religion as well. So it looks like we're going with Lakshman. All right, Lakshman. So I'm going to lose a little bit of prestige here as a result of marrying someone in a lower house, but that's totally fine. It's not an issue at all. So there we go. If you use the matrimonial marriage, this would be a terrible idea for me, but basically our children would belong to her dynasty, not my own. So don't do that. If my firstborn, for instance, is a daughter and I marry her off or arrange her marriage, I'm definitely going to want to click this box. Basically, you want your children to belong to your dynasty. If they don't belong to your dynasty, you're kind of screwed. So send the proposal. All right. Then there's some other situations here, and I haven't even unpaused. I can take concubines. I just said I wouldn't. I can hire a court physician. So a court physician is really helpful if you get injured or you get sick. Before we even do any of that, let's take a look at our council. So I don't have a spouse yet. Our religious leader has absolutely terrible learning, so I'm going to want to replace them immediately. The chancellor has a pretty reasonably high diplomacy skill, as does the marshal, as does the spy master. The steward is a little lackluster, so that's another person to be possibly replaced. They are a fool. Here, let me click them. Yeah, they have no appreciably useful skills. The marshal would also be a good spy master, but she's better at marshal. The spy master is only good at spying. Oh my lord! I have never seen someone so useless. Wait, hold on. Take a look at this lady. 0000000. Wow, that's ridiculous. That is. Wow. Okay. Well, so there are people in my council that I can replace them with, and if I sort by learning, the best person for the job, unfortunately, is my current marshal, which is not that useful. So I think what I'm going to want to do is get her fired basically as fast as I can, because she is absolutely atrociously horrible at her job, and it's going to be a real problem. All right. It's a problem that will fix itself when I unpause. Oh yeah, there we go. Now she's 14. Okay. I guess it just wasn't calculating. So it looks like my steward is someone that I am going to want to replace. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is, in the decisions here, I'm going to invite champions. Champions, generally speaking, are people with high prowess, meaning they're good at dueling and combat, but possibly they're going to have high learning or high stewardship skills. So I'm going to spend some prestige doing just that. I'm also going to search for a physician as well. That comes free. Over here, actually, in the decisions, I want the game to notify me when I can do this again, in case I don't get good candidates the first time around. Okay, some other decisions to make. Let's see. I am not currently endorsed by my religious leader. So the first thing I'm going to do is right-click on them and do a sway scheme to try to get them to like me more. If they like me more, they might provide extra taxes and troops so that I can pay for things and fight people. And I'm going to play on slow, and let me cover what just went out. So, Madzi, Frostlam, Kadath, Chaos Engine, Omaru, Flash Firestorm, Call Me Bio, Twice Over, and Gusius. Thank you for all the gifted subs and the resubs. So, Lakshman has just accepted the handed marriage. Wonderful. That's another person that I'm going to want to sway to my side, but because she speaks a different language, it also might be wise for me to learn her language. That'd be really helpful. I'm not going to demand conversion just yet over to our religion. I'm going to wait until my relationship with her is a little bit better. I'm not going to take a brand new person and go, hey, convert now, because that's kind of forceful. So the current priority now, I would say, is start scheming or start planning expansion wars. So let's take a look. One of the biggest things to do is to fight for duchies and kingdoms. So Zadoi is here. This is our land. This is, if I zoom in, there's 4 different provinces or 4 different counties, or no, 3. Sorry. There's Zadoi, Trendam, and Zidoi, and then there is Trandam, which is a little tribal hold, Kaputang, which is a tribal hold, and whatever this is, I'm not ever going to try to pronounce that, which is also a tribal hold. Their garrisons are currently growing, so I'm going to wait for opportunities to expand, but then the first thing to look at is duchy titles. So if we attack a neighbor of ours who is weaker and take all their land, we can then claim the duchy title for ourselves. So this is the duchy map, whereas this is the, if I zoom in, this is the county map. So fighting for duchies is probably what I'm going to do early on. So for instance, if we take a look at our neighbor here, the Nangquen, they own a duchy and then a county of another duchy, which means that there is a cause for war for this empire to try to take this county back from that empire. Our calling them empires is a little extreme. They're petty kingdoms instead. Then the other thing that we're going to want to do is start fighting for kingdom tiles. Because you can only hold so many titles yourself personally. So it's really helpful to have one giant umbrella to put all the titles under. So eventually trying to expand to all of Amdo, or at least enough of Amdo to claim the title. So right now, we own 3 counties of Amdo, but if we owned 13, we could then claim ourselves king of Amdo entirely, which would be really, really helpful. And then even larger is the Empire. So this is the Empire of Tibet. And you only have a few empires possible on the entire map. And if we take a look, it looks like the Abbasid Empire exists. Is this not even an empire? Dang. The Kyrgyz? No, there's really not a lot of empires that are even existing right now. So that just shows you how difficult it is to grow to an empire. That there's like almost none of them. Okay, cool. So that's sort of just how the map goes. And the game is telling me that I could declare war on people, but my army is not strong enough. But that will change as our troops get reinforced. So if we take a look here to... No. This map view. They have 1,200 troops. 800. And no allies. So Bakwen, which is just to my south, would be a good target. However, they don't belong to the Amdo Kingdom. They belong to Kam instead. Now, eventually, if we're trying to make the Empire of Tibet, all the territory of Tibet would be ideal. But because it's hard to replenish troops, it costs prestige, it costs gold. It's also pretty important to make sure that you're fighting towards a very specific goal. So this northern empire here, this ruler to the north, has 1,000 troops. Amdo has about 1,000 troops, and those are who we directly border. So ideally, we want to be either pushing into Amdo or Kwamerleb, or take this county from Nakwin, because this northern county belongs to the Amdo Kingdom too. So who should we consider attacking? Amdo? Kumarleb? Or Nanguin? If I spell things wrong, which I've noticed I probably already have, so be it. So, looking for a court physician, let's see who they brought. Court physicians are very expensive. This person only has a learning of 10. They do have pretty high stewardship skills, but they would make me bankrupt. And then this person has decent diplomacy skills. I would like to take the court physician Thungsasem or whatever that something. So I think what I'm going to do is put my court physician also as the steward. So I'm going to go a little bit into debt, but this gives me a really capable steward and a really capable court physician, or at least a decent court physician, better than the 0 court physician that I had before. So it's a bit of an expensive decision, but I think it will pay for itself given the boost of stewardship skills. Now, the other thing to note is that the person that I booted out... Was it you? No. You, because you're sad that you lost your position. They don't really serve any purpose. They have no prowess, so they wouldn't really be a good knight to fight for me. And for a little bit of a time, while I'm in debt, the vassal opinion, levy size, reinforcement rate, development growth, and popular opinion will drop, which is fine. I completely accept that. The reason is the steward is responsible for collecting taxes. So having a really good steward means that I will collect more taxes and sometimes perhaps even get a bonus to taxes. Like unexpected money out of nowhere. Now, because we're tribal, there's not a lot that is supplied by development. Development is ignored except for the effect on supply limit when it is owned by a tribal government. So taking a look at all the council members here, just to explain what they can do. Purohit can preach to grow our piety, which is us focusing on our faith. And then it looks like you guys want me to plan on attacking Kumarleb. Got it. So they have 990. And I'm going to wait until I'm not in debt anymore, because going to war while in debt is going to be a bit of a problem. So back to the councils. And then I also can fabricate a claim on a county to try to claim a duchy. But there's a loss of piety, it upsets the target, and there's a vassal opinion loss. As tribal, it isn't even really necessary, because if we take a look at me going to war, for instance, I can just be like, I can't go to war while in debt, but I can just be like, I'm going to war with you, I'm taking your land. So fabricating a claim is more for feudal empires, or feudal duchies or whatever, but it's not really all that applicable to me. The chancellor here can bestow royal favor, which I would need a royal court for. That means I need to be a king first. There is also integrate title. So integrating a title sort of merges a title that you're trying to integrate into your own title so that it's a larger umbrella title. There's domestic affairs, which is to increase the vassal opinion, end internal wars, force partition for a vassal, but it also lowers vassal opinions. Currently, I don't have any vassals. And foreign affairs, which grows prestige. And right now, I want to grow my prestige. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. For stewards, they can either increase development in a country, but I just explained development doesn't really matter when you're tribal. It only supplies your troops better with food, and that's all it does. Or collect taxes. There's also grayed out promoting the culture and promote cultural acceptance, but all of our, and I'll show you the culture map in just a second, but all of our starting territory is all of the same culture and all of the same, so we don't really need to do that. So for your marshals, you can manage the royal guards. Again, we don't have a royal court. We can increase the control in a county. All 3 of the counties that we have maximum control. Control is shown here, which allows you to tax and draw levied troops. We can train our commanders to help level up martial skills, which is honestly not that bad of an idea for us to do right now. Commander gains commander trait for her to basically become a better commander. And then organize an army, which is to raise levies. When I'm out of debt, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And then the spy master can either find secrets to use as sort of political weapons against people, to support the schemes that we are scheming, or to disrupt the schemes of enemies. I'm going to have him support the schemes, because I don't expect that other empires are trying to scheme against me right now. And I am trying to make my religious leader happier, so that I can gain taxes and levies from the church holdings. So, a lot of info, I know. All right. And I'm going to rename the chiefdom that we have here the Die. Or maybe just Die. I'll do just Die. So here's our title. And I'm going to change the colors. That'll work. That was easy. Perfect. So not too much longer, and we'll be out of debt. A few more months. For the other decisions, most of the major decisions up here are going to be locked to me, because we don't have what we need in order to fulfill them. Once I have an antiquarian, they can start... Oh, you were trying to raid me, aren't you? I see you. Here, let me raise my... Oh, you know what? Yeah, let me raise my troops, because it's going to cost me a little bit in monthly income, but I don't want this raider to raid my lands. I see you. They're raiders from Backwin, and they're coming to try to steal money. So, there is loot to be had raiding... And maybe I'm going to try to defeat him in counter raid to try to take money from him. Oh, he's not actually raiding me. Interesting. Well, then I'm going to start raiding. I'm going to raid him. I'm going to try to take 17 gold from his barony. Don't march through my territory and not expect me to notice. It's going to cost you. I'm not really sure where he's going, though. And when I initiated the Find Champions, what's happening here is I'm bringing in, and I don't have the money to hire them, but I'm bringing in guests with particularly high prowess skills. So this dude has really high prowess skills of 18, 13, and that's who has shown up so far. And I'm going to hire them into my court as soon as I have the money to do so. Oh, they are raiding me. You bastard. Now, there's a little bit of prestige, and sometimes you can recapture money. So I'm going to try to stop this raid. No, good. Someone else is coming. Oh, maybe they're not coming to raid. They don't have the raider flag on. Are you coming to attack the raiders? That'd be hilarious. I think they are. They never finished raiding me. He's bouncing. And I think I might be able to get the... Yeah. I just took one of their... I raided them. I raided their barony. And I took a 7-year-old prisoner. Oh, good. There he is. He is... What is he? He is... the steward's child. So he's not of royal importance. Raid loot delivered. I got 17 gold and 17 prestige. And you know, their other zones don't have a lot of gold, but oh, I don't want casualties. No, don't go into that territory. Okay, I think it's because of... I'm not really sure why it wants to kill me when I go in there. But if I'm going to be attacking Quarmaleb, I'm just going to go raid towards Quarmaleb right now. It also means that I now have enough gold to declare wars, so I'll do that just as soon as I'm done raiding. Because there's a little bit of a cooldown. So here I am attacking their raiders. And there's a little bit of a cooldown when you disband your armies for when you can rally them. Our champion was maimed. Oh no, that's not good. I have so few champions. Be gone, raiders. And a victory. I like it. No, well, I'm not really sure why this army did what they did. They kind of just rolled up and helped me. Who are they? So the High Chieftain Kona. Well, I don't know. I don't mind though. So this here has 15 gold in it as well. They just rallied an army to counter. So I'm going to stop raiding and return back because they are my war target. And I might be able to snatch the loot and leave. Weakening targets with raiding before you do a formal attack can often be pretty useful. But I think they are going to catch up to me in time. Oh, and Lakshman is pregnant. So this is why I tend not to take, at least because I'm new, female leaders initially, is they don't fight well in battle when they are pregnant. There's a lot of raiding going on right now. There is multiple raid parties, as you can see down here, around. So maybe we win this, maybe we don't. We have a little bit of a defensive advantage. The advantage is in my favor, but it is a roaming, moving number. But even if we lose, I will re-rally and counterattack. And then I also just managed to sway Purohit. So she's not really providing anything right now, but as she becomes more enamored with us, she can provide us taxes and levies. And here's the last champion from the Inviting Champions, and he has a prowess of 17. So those champions would have been really, really, really helpful in this fight, but it's too late. I'll just be retreating back to my territory now, which is fine. And raid loot lost, but it was their loot, so that's fine. We still are up like 17 gold. All right, I'm going to disband the army and let the levies refill. So for that, I'm going to have my commander organize the armies so that the levies replenish quicker. And then as I start to get the gold, I will want to take on these champions. So Godin, Kitsi, and Kel Yenmel. Don't want your concubine. No, thank you. So champions are sort of your best fighters that you go into war with. And they can provide some pretty nice benefits into the battles. You're taking a page from Bannerlord and allowed pregnant fighting? No, she... Actually, what should she be doing? She has really good politics skill. If I have her do... Yeah, I'll have her assist ruler. And give 3 to diplomacy, 1 to martial, 1 to stewardship, 2 to intrigue, 2 to learning. That works. Spread her capabilities a little everywhere. Probably for the best. The control of the capital dropped a little bit because it got raided, but it only lowered the levies by 2% and the taxes by 4%, so it's really not that significant of a penalty. And then as soon as I see my levies go back up to max size, Cormalab is going to get attacked so that we can start spreading up that way. Do I still need to learn a language? I do. I mean, we can still communicate through translators, I suppose. There's not actual translators, it's just imaginary. But right now, I would prefer to sway per hit, and then I'll start swaying her and learning her language, and then telling her to convert. It just... Things take a long time in this game. So another thing to look at... Well, that's not good. My son was a stillborn. How old is she? 22? Let's hope that doesn't happen again. It didn't impart any negative traits on her. It actually didn't even stress us out, which is probably for the best. Because the stress that incurs can cause you to have a mental break, which is not great. So here's the levies that I'm trying to refill. And I'd like to... There we go. I now have Kitsi as a champion. And I have Kel Yemel as a champion. So you don't have any other good skills. You, not really either. What was my 15 is the number to beat? No, that's not better. And then the last one is 13. Yeah, he's just a good dueler. Okie dokie. Okay, let's see. My lord, and here is the choice poll, but I'm going to read it out for you. My lord, Kitsi shuffles up to me and smiles politely. I was approached by High Chiefess Lakshman, who, in her wisdom, suggested an arrangement between the two of us, since you could use some financial aid, and I could use some social assistance. So, I borrow 50 gold from Kitsi. I will need to use the repay loan decision to repay the loan, and I gain 20 opinion with Kitsi. Why don't you donate to the temple instead? So this gives me 50 gold that I would have to repay. Why don't you donate to the temple instead? I gain some piety. Or you should donate to the poor, and I gain some prestige. Is the poll not, Oh, there you go. So this is something that was arranged by my wife. The game doesn't really have the concept that she doesn't speak our language. She just magically communicates these things. I guess through a translator that follows her around everywhere. So either I take 50 gold and have to repay him, I have him donate to the temple or donate to the poor. And my current opinion of him is 37. He's grateful that I hired him. My personal diplomacy gives me a +3, but my short reign, or his short reign rather, gives him a -16. All right, it looks like either we take the loan or we have him donate to the temple is going to win. It's off by just a single vote. What is his other traits? Forder. So he's good at crossing rivers. He's strong, so he's healthy. He's not a good warrior. He's zealous, so he does have some piety. Arbitrary. And shy. Oh, interesting. Okay, so taking the loan. All right, so I do have the repay loan decision. Where'd the other money come from? Did that just bug out? I'm gonna repay it right now, because apparently he gave me 50 and I turned it into 100. Magic. Okay, well that does allow me to then hire the last guest. Godin. So Godin is hired. One of my champions, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One of my champions has a skill of 0. So I still want more champions. Ideally. Because 0 is not someone that can fight. Like, ever and at all. I could try to recruit a mountain specialist who is really good at fighting in mountains. But that costs me some prestige and some gold. Should I consider recruiting a mountain specialist? So a mountain specialist isn't necessarily someone with a high prowess skill. They're someone with a high martial skill. So the thing about this is it would be someone to replace Tshyogal, a gal, whatever her name is. But I'll leave you with that choice really quickly while I take a look at the martial lifestyles. So here we go. Your martial skills develop over here in this bottom left lock symbol. And you gain experience depending on your traits and your personality and that stuff like that. Your background, your training, your teachings. And I can either unlock the cause for war cost -50%, a man's home, which is defender advantage +5, or strict organization, increased control and county gain, or stalwart leader, which adds prowess. Let's see. I would like to add control. I really want to get to friendly territory levy reinforcement rate so I can do a lot of wars back to back. So I'm going to do man's home. And it looks like you guys want me to recruit a mountain specialist. So let's go do that too. Thank you for tuning in to Crusader Kings III Rise of the Die, which originally streamed live on Twitch September 1st. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my gaming community, Rhadamant.com or the description of this video have a link to Discord. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that stayed till the end of the credits. I'll catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Adios.